Today we are going to restring a bass, and in this case it is a Fender Jazz bass. This is my personal bass. I think it's a 2000 year, from the year 2000, American Jazz Deluxe. But doesn't matter what the bass is, the principles are the same for restringing any bass. Well, any bass that kind of looks like this and has these type of machine heads here. So I currently have a fairly new set of round wound strings on here, and they're good strings, but they're a little too bright for my liking. So I'm going to put on something called half rounds, and these are D'addario half rounds. I've used them before, they're great. This is a light gauge string, and I'm going to show you how to put them on. So first thing, we'll open up the pack and divide up the strings. What I tend to do, if it's a really old bass and I need to clean off the neck and scrub it, I'll take all the strings off at once and then restring it again while cleaning the neck, and I'll sometimes do the truss rod as well at that point, see how the action is. In this case, I'm just going to do one string at a time. What you can use, you could obviously just use your hands to unwind it like that. On a bass, it doesn't take much to unwind it. So basically going to lower the tension on this one, take this string off, and then I will just pull it through the bridge here. Really nothing to that at all. I will save this string because it's relatively new. If I want a brighter, twangier tone in the future, I will use this string. So I'll just set it aside for now. With the new strings, they do come in a colored kind of system there for the D'addario strings, at least. It's also very easy to tell the thickest to thinnest, so I'm going to start with the low E here. In this case, the gauge is a 45 to 100, so this is a 100 gauge. And this bass also has a through body I guess design, and that means if you flip the bass over, you could see you can put the strings through the body. That will give you a little more sustain. It's kind of a newer system. I have always just used the old way where you go through the bridge itself and over, each saddle, and that's worked fine for me. So what I'm going to do, you put it through the bridge here, pull it all the way up to the top. Now up here, you're going to see you get a lot of extra string. You don't need all of this extra string. What I tend to do, I will always go two kind of machine heads above and then cut it there. And that's kind of the safe zone. So I'm going to go 1, 2, I'll cut it around there. I'm using just a standard pair of wire cutters for this. You do need wire cutters to cut them. Scissors will definitely not work in this case. At this stage, I'm going to take the end of the string, put it right in the machine head, and there's a hole at the bottom of that post. And what I will do is basically start the wrap, and while keeping my thumb there, I don't want to let go of my thumb, because if I do, the string's going to pop out. All the windings will get tangled, it just won't look good and won't stay in tune as well. So if you don't have a string winder, this is where you would literally just sit here for a couple moments and just twist it like that. I do have a string winder handy, and this one actually fits in basses as well. So this is another D'addario product. I think it's called the Pro Winder. I believe it's called the Pro Winder. And it's good because it'll fit a guitar or a bass. And again, I'll just keep going with this, tightening it. I don't really care about the tuning at this point. I just want it to be tight so it won't come undone. So I am just bringing it up to tension at this stage. Everything seems fine there. It's a nice clean wrap. I'll move on to the A string, and then I'll just unwind this. Just take it out. I'm not going to cut anything at this stage. I'm just going to remove it from the bridge. Again, I will save this string, wrap it up. I'll put it in a Ziploc bag after. That'll prevent oxidization, so I can use it in the future. I'll move on to the next string. Again, we have, it's a color-coded system. I'm going for the A string now, which is an 80 gauge. In this case, it's the red string, or with the red ball rather. And just like the E string, I'm gonna put it through the bridge. Another kind of tip or trick, I'll bend it. I'll give it a little 90-degree bend, and that'll help me go in through the hole there, up above the saddle, and that just helps getting it through. Now up at this stage, again, I'm going to use the same principle. I'm going to count 2 machine heads above the machine head I'm aiming for, so 1, 2, and I'll cut the wire there. Cut it. Again, I will put it into the post and start the wrap myself. I'm going to keep my thumb there. I'm not going to let go of that point right there. I will use the machine head at this stage, or sorry, the peg winder on the machine head. Give it a wrap. Doesn't take much. And I'm just going to bring it up to tension. Again, I don't care about the tuning at this stage. I just want it tight so it won't come undone. And if you can see, I've got about 3 or 4 wraps on each post, and that's kind of ideal. You don't want, one wrap, and if you have too many, it's going to get tangled. So for the thick strings, 3 wraps is fine. For the thinner strings, maybe we'll go for 4 or so. And again, I'll just move on to the next string. Loosen it there. Remove it from the bridge at the bottom. And because these were D'addario strings that I'm taking off, I also have that color system. This is a black ball here. I'm going to wrap it up. I'll put it with my other strings, the other used strings, and move on to my new set, the half rounds. And I'm going to go for the black ball here. I will again, I'm going to bend the end like I did last time. Give it a little 90-degree bend there. Go through the saddle, through the bridge rather, up above the saddle. And at this point, I'm also aiming just to put it in the middle. You'll see a bunch of grooves there, and I'll put it at the middle. Later on, when I'm tuning it, I'm going to check the intonation later. I may move them over, see what the spacing is like there, but for now I'll just aim for the middle. And again, I will go up to the headstock. There's a little point there, and I'm going to go underneath that. And that helps hold down the string, just like your thumb was doing in the previous strings there. So that's a handy part of the bass. I'm going to again go up about 2 machine heads and cut it. Obviously we're just at the last machine head, so I'm just going to estimate there. I'll cut it, around there, and go back into the post in the hole, start the wrap. Just one time around is fine. I will keep my thumb there and then go under that little helper. And I'm going to just wind it up again. This may take a little while because it's a thinner string. There might be more slack on the string itself. And we're getting there. Also, sometimes you'll find it's gonna move on you and try to sit in another nut slot there. So I'm gonna just move back to where it should go and continue with this wrapping. Now that's pretty tight. That's fine. That's definitely not moving anywhere there. And I got about 3 wraps at that post, and that's fine. We move on to the G string now. I will loosen that. And my old string is a green ball, and I only have 1 more string left in the new pack, and obviously that's going to be the green one as well. So let me just wrap these up and get them, set them aside. And for the last string, do the little dent or turn on there, 90-degree angle on the string, put it through, go on the middle of the groove. And on this side here, I am going to just cut off the end of the string. Now you could see the end, you got the wrap, and then you got the string, the solid string, the core, I guess, in the middle. I'm just going to cut it just a little bit toward the end there, and that will give me enough room past the post that I can get a couple wraps. So I'll put it down in there, wrap it around, put my thumb there, get it under the helper, and just start stringing it up. Also want to make sure nothing gets caught on this end as well. There we go. And again, not moving my thumb at this point. If I do, all of the windings are going to pop off and it'll get messy. There we go. So that is tight. Again, it's not in tune. Now I'm looking down the neck at this point, and there's a little, I kind of don't like the spacing here. I'm sure you could look up the exact spacing what the strings should be apart from each other. It just looks to me that these two are a little wider apart than the rest of the string. So I'm going to look at this, and it looks like the A string is over toward the high end of the bass. I'm going to lower the tension a little bit on the A string. I'm going to move it over just into the middle. Tighten it up. And just looking at the spacing, it seems fine to me. What I think I'll do, I'm going to tune it up, I'll play it, I'll plug it into my amp, see how it feels. I'm going to check the height of everything as well, like the height of each saddle. I'm going to do the intonation. Intonation is basically moving these saddles back and forth. And the way you do intonation, let's say that's perfectly in tune, that's like a perfect E. I would then play a note at the 12th fret, and I want that to be perfectly in tune as well. If it's not, if it's sharp or flat, I would adjust this accordingly. And there's tons of videos on how to intonate a bass or a guitar, so just maybe check something out online. I will probably do a more in-depth video of doing a full setup on a bass. This is just a standard restring. At this stage, I'm going to grab a tuner. I'll clip it on to the bass and get everything in tune. And that's basically it. That's all you have to do to restring a bass. Again, a Fender style. Same thing would apply to a precision bass, a jazz bass. Virtually most basses out there have this design, a standard bridge at the bottom and the posts up here. So hope you learned something today, and stay tuned for the next video. Thanks.